We live in a time where faith has become a show. People post every feast, every outfit, every prayer. But Yahuah isn't watching the performance. He's watching the heart. This message isn't about judging anyone. It's about reminding ourselves what true righteousness looks like. Yahusha said in Matthew 23:5, "They do all their deeds to be seen by men." And sadly, that same spirit is alive today. People chasing validation instead of transformation. The walk with Yahuah was never meant to be a public show. It's not about how Hebrew your garments look or how perfectly you can pronounce sacred names. It's not about proving how many feasts you've kept. Because if the Ruach HaKodesh hasn't renewed your heart, all that outward effort means nothing. The feasts were prophetic shadows pointing to Yahusha. Passover, his sacrifice. Unleavened bread, his sinless body. First fruits, his resurrection. Shavuot, or Pentecost, the giving of the Spirit, he fulfilled them all. So our focus now isn't on the shadow, it's on the substance, him. That's why Colossians 2:16 tells us, "Let no one therefore judge you in eating or in drinking or in respect of a feast day or of a new moon or of Sabbaths." Shaul was reminding us that outward observances don't make us righteous. The presence of Yahusha within us does. And today, a lot of people still put too much importance on the outer things, like sleeping in tents during the Feast of Tabernacles or following every small physical custom. But the truth is, we're not living in the same time as ancient Yasharal. If we were truly going to keep every feast exactly as they did, we'd also have to do burnt offerings, animal sacrifices, and temple rituals. And none of that applies today because Yahusha became the final sacrifice. We're not saved by feast days, we're saved by his blood. The feasts are a remembrance, not a requirement. They point to what Yahusha fulfilled, not what still binds us. So if someone wants to honor those days, that's fine. But we should never make them a burden or a measure of someone's faith, because the moment we do that, we've lost sight of grace and gone back to legalism. And I know some people might say, but Yahusha told us to keep the feast in remembrance of him. But if you really read what he said, that's not what the scriptures record. In Luke 22:19, Yahusha said, "Do this in remembrance of me." He wasn't talking about continuing the old feast rituals. He was showing his disciples a new covenant. The bread represented his body, and the cup represented his blood. He became the fulfillment of Passover, the final lamb who was slain once and for all. So to remember him doesn't mean to repeat the shadows. It means to live in the truth of what he accomplished, to walk in his sacrifice, his spirit, and his renewal of our hearts. The feasts were prophetic pictures, but the picture became reality through Yahusha. And that's what we remember. Not the rituals, but the redemption. Yahuah is looking for something deeper, a heart that's humble, broken, and teachable. Because he said in Isaiah 66:2, "To this one will I look, to him who is humble and contrite in spirit and trembles at my word." The world is full of people showing off righteousness, but very few letting Yahuah transform them. It's not about appearing holy, it's about being made whole. So let's stop chasing validation and start pursuing sanctification. Let's return to that quiet place where it's just you and Yahuah. No camera, no audience, just truth. Stay humble, stay set apart, and keep walking the narrow way, truth over tradition.